Rockets, welcome back to the second week of Advent. This week we will be talking about faith. And faith during Advent prepares us once again, as we said last week, to welcome the birth of Christ in our homes, but also in our hearts. Last week we talked about how we can celebrate and we can prepare for Advent, and we said for the coming of Christ. So we said we know spending time with family, but this time I'm going to talk about faith and how that would relate and how that would be translated into our community life here at the Mount. For example, talking to some students, we talked about that having faith and preparing for the coming of Christ, the birth of Jesus. That it's important that we spend time and actually be proactive in going to Mass, carving out time to do extra devotions, maybe going to the chapel and saying a prayer. But having faith doesn't necessarily mean that you believe in something that is non-existent. Actually, having faith means believing in something that you know that's there, but you can't see. And that's what really encourages us to live Advent with faith, with hope, and also just translating into our common life is like a basketball player or a soccer player. If you don't do the work in the gym or in the court, then there's no way you're going to be able to make a free throw, or there's no way you're going to be able to score a goal or a penalty kick if you don't practice and practice. So how can we get closer to Christ and deepen our faith with Him? Well, by making time to go to church. Most of the time we say, well, it's boring, or the Advent season is actually very exciting. It's an adventure, because just as you're waiting for those gifts and presents that your parents perhaps already have picked out for you because you have asked for them, but there's also that extra effort that we have to put into preparing for the coming of Christ. What is it? Well, it's in your own person. You don't have to go out of yourself. It's just doing extraordinary things through an ordinary day. So, Rockets, continue to get to draw closer to the Lord by going to Mass and by practicing those devotions that will get you and that will draw you closer to Christ.